Hello, my name is Dante Renee from the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Like tonight's film, this is 1988's Mutant War. Now, this is on a double feature Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray DVD disc with Battle for the Lost Planet, which I've already looked at on this YouTube page. But this is Mutant War, which we're looking at tonight, and this is from 1988, and it is kind of looked at by the director Brett Piper as a kind of a loose sequel to Battle for the Lost Planet. And we have the same lead man, Matt Mittler, in here, and kind of extending and from the world and from where it left off with Battle for the Lost Planet. Now, the interesting thing is that you can also watch this film as its own piece, because you will get a nice summary, and it exists as its own entity as well in the world that it all exists in. But one of the interesting things that I wanted to mention is that Mutant War has some very unique things happening in it in terms of location and even sound design. Mutant War is such a interesting spectacle of a film where, again, we have a low-budget movie with mostly unknown actors and actresses, minus Cameron Mitchell in a small role in this film. But when you look at the production design, you look at the stop-motion creatures, you look at the special effects, and the bloodletting and things of that nature. And there's also such an entertaining vibe to all of the proceedings. Mutant War definitely has the video game come to life atmosphere. Pure, beautiful 80s as well. This one was shot on 35 millimeter, and it looks absolutely unbelievable. But the movie itself is such an interesting beast in that we have a similar vibe as Battle for the Lost Planet, where we're meeting characters as they happen to come about. Journeys are really a result of just life, what happens in life, happenstance in life, with our lead character. We have genetic mutations in this film. We have a very bizarre love interest. We have a very interesting, complex love interest, also involving kind of a family relationship in a way. We have a gang of punks, which is very similar to, in a way, of the first Battle for the Lost Planet. But we also have some LSD tripping in here as well, and the use of acid to bring about like truth, almost like, I think it's in Wonder Woman, where she has like a truth serum to make you speak the truth. We have the aspect of rape in here to kind of perpetuate the species. So that's another interesting element here. We have a bunch of Playboys in this movie as well, some original Playboy magazines from the 80s, I believe from the 80s. You can't really see much of the covers. A beautiful mix of that comedy that works. It's not too overbearing. It's just absolutely right. Fun would be the best way to describe it. Fun with darkness also, with survival and evil and aspects of just being lost, helpless, vulnerable, wasteland of an earth. An interesting side story involving a weapons dealer that's a human, but that kind of has the vision of the Predator, kind of. So some very interesting things going on in Mutant War. A wild shootout battle with tons of laser beams. A monstrous, the tallest genetic mutation monster, which he's listed as in the closing credits for the film as well, which I think is pretty interesting. Kind of like the biggest genetic mutation, the biggest mutant or something. The majority of the film takes place really in one central location for the most part. We have this really wild souped up car with a Barbie on the front, which I believe might be similar to the car in Battle for the Lost Planet as well. But it really has a Mad Max vibe mixed with punk, mixed with fantasy, mixed with sci-fi, mixed with horror. And you have all of those elements together with also fun and some comedy in there as well. So darkness and fun. When we look at the sound design and the score for this film, again, we have an awesome score, just like for Battle for the Lost Planet. But while we have this amazing late night 80s synth video game, mysterious RPG, action, horror, video game vibe, we also have a much more percussive atmosphere in here with a lot more stings that are individualistic, as well as some fun light vibes to the score also, which were very surprising. In more of a kind of like a fantasy world. But lots of jarring elements to the score at times where I almost didn't know if that was just the score or if it was something happening in the movie. There was like one particular point where I was like kind of a little bit on edge because of the score. Like I didn't know if the percussive atmosphere was something that was erupting in front of us or, you know. And then we have some punk music in here, just like in Battle for the Lost Planet, but some great punk music, great 80s punk music that really brings a sleazy, sludgy vibe to the proceedings. And there also is a sleazy atmosphere in here as well, even without nudity, just involving, you know, some outfits and the raping to perpetuate the species. And we got some great creatures in here as well. This is also a creature film, stop motion creature film. Awesome creatures. And really feels like, in a way, like I mentioned before, like a video game come to life or a pinball game come to life, but a video game, you know, kind of moving through and meeting characters and fighting enemies. And the lead character is, he provides a lot of fun. He provides a lot of interesting, just vibes to everything. We have torture in the film as well. Cameron Mitchell plays an evil villain in here with an interesting outfit. And this one is an hour and 20 minutes long. We do have some blood in here. We do have some violence in here, not gore, but we do have violence in here. I would say the Mutant War is probably more violent than Battle for the Lost Planet in that regards. But it's a film that really is satisfying one location. And there is such an interesting aspect to this particular film with the lead character and a younger girl whose her age is never really mentioned. I believe she is of age in the film. She is attractive, has wild 80s hair, but it's their relationship that really does something very unique to Mutant War. We also have harmonica music in this film, and I have to tell you that the ending of this film is artistic, it's powerful, it's complex in kind of a Sofia Coppola kind of way, where you feel empty, lost, yet hopeful, but not. Love, the future, the apocalypse. Mutant War is a wild beast of a movie with central locations, central characters, and then side characters kind of making their way back and forth throughout the film. But a much more simplistic world in a way than Battle for the Lost Planet, which is existing in many, many realms. And stay tuned for the awesome acid trip in this film. And I don't want to give too much away, but the acid in the film is... the acid trip is used in a way that I've never seen a sequel use acid before. That's all I'm going to say. Acid is used in a sequel. For what reason? You shall see. Thank you so much for watching the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more, like 1988's Mutant War by the amazing genius Brett Piper. Thank you so much for watching this page, and please feel free to check out my own personally made films, making the transition from YouTube youtube.com/poopy diarrhea to Vimeo, our brand new home. Vimeo.com/poopy diarrhea, POOPY diarrhea. That's where you can see all my personally made movies and many more to come at Vimeo. You can follow me there. Thank you so much and good night.